A lot of people seem to worry about the marketing and sales aspect of farming, and in this video I wanted to share with you some of our experiences with selling our produce, the different market streams, some of the best solutions today on how you can market and sell your produce, and the market streams I think will continue to grow exponentially in the upcoming years. So without further ado, let's jump right in. I think we can all agree that the year 2020 has brought a lot of change in our daily lives, and it certainly has changed a lot of businesses. Fortunately for us farmers, demand for locally grown food has seen a steep increase, and I've talked to a lot of farmers that are having difficulties of keeping up with the demand, ourselves included. But with everything that has happened, a lot of us needed to change their sales strategies in order to not only survive, but to keep thriving. And what has worked in the past doesn't necessarily work as good anymore today. A good example of this is the restaurant industry, particularly here in our area. Before, we had no problems moving large quantities to this particular market stream, yet now many of them had to close down and a lot of them are still struggling to hold on. And I believe this has happened all over the world and not only with the restaurant industry. In the past, you had 5 main market streams that did best, depending on your community: farmers markets, restaurants, CSA, farm stand, and wholesale aggregators and distributors. There's also a 6th market stream that is doing better than ever, and I think we'll continue to see an increase in demand and is becoming a must-have for your farm to sell your produce efficiently to your customers. But before we talk about what that is, let's first talk about an important subject when it comes to marketing and selling your produce, and that is branding. No matter what market stream you're going to sell your crops to, promoting yourself and your farm is an important part of achieving success. This includes the way you present yourself, the way you talk, and the promises that you make. This is all important when it comes to marketing, and this all relates back to branding. The name of your farm, the message you tell the people, the story of your farm, your values as a farmer, all of these things combined are what makes up your farm brand. And this plays a crucial role in the success of your farm. Now, if you're not very familiar with branding, I think that the best way that we can describe a brand is that the brand is the personality of a business, in this case, your farm. When doing business with other people, whether you're selling your produce to someone at the local farmers market or to restaurants or to grocery stores, it is important that they know who they're doing business with and why they are doing business with you. Instead of looking at the personality of a business, imagine the brand as a person. What are the characteristics that makes up its personality? So, for example, what is the name of the farm? How does it present itself? What does it try to communicate? What are the core values? And what does the farm stand for? And who wants the farm to associate with? A well-defined brand is able to answer these questions and clearly shows its potential customers why they should do business with it. Some of the objectives it will achieve are that it delivers a clear message and it can emotionally connect your target customers to you and your produce, which will motivate them to buy from you, and it can create a strong customer loyalty in the process. If done right, this will help a lot with the success of your farm. Now, with farming, you are essentially the face of your business, much like a personal brand. You will be the one that will reach out to potential customers and will have to promote yourself, your farm, and your produce. And the goal of branding and marketing is to develop a strong customer loyalty and relationships. This is really one of the most essential parts of having a successful farm, or any business for that matter. You want to create a strong network of people that become invested in your farm. Initially, when starting out, this will very likely be the people that you already know within your own circles. So people like your friends, your family, neighbors, colleagues. These are all people that already know you, and many of them can become advocates of your farm and help spread the word. From there, word of mouth will start to happen, and with a little bit of more marketing effort on your side, you can really gain a loyal base of customers pretty rapidly. And talking about customers, let's have a deeper look into the available market streams and see how they are doing in the current environment with everything that's going on. Farmers markets. Farmers markets are probably one of the easier market streams to get started with. They have a low barrier to entry and come with a lot of benefits. One of the biggest benefits is probably the fact that farmers markets bring together many customers in one place. You don't have to do any advertising yet. you get to benefit from the advertising that's done by the farmers markets themselves. You can basically tap into an already existing customer base without having to do a lot of marketing. And that is probably also one of its downsides, because of the fact that it's such a low barrier to entry and the fact that it comes with many benefits. There can be a lot of competition at the market. I've visited several markets in the past that literally had 5 or sometimes even more farmers that were pretty much selling all the same crops and the same produce. Now, with all that competition, that's not a pretty situation to be in as a beginning farmer. And at that point, it becomes important to set yourself apart from the rest. And that is where branding comes into play. I think most of us have a preferred brand we tend to buy from, whether it is clothing, tools, groceries, or whatever. In some way or shape, we tend to consume from the brands that we identify with, simply because of the quality, the pricing, or we share the same values. And you can use this to your benefit when you are selling your produce at the farmers market or any other market stream for that matter. Now, besides the low barrier to entry and the fact that farmers markets bring together many customers, they are a great place for beginners since they allow you to really start small, and it allows you to offer produce that you have available, which can be a bit inconsistent in the beginning. It also allows you to test different products with your customers. You can set your own prices. It's a great place to build the important relationships, and you get paid the moment that you sell something. This makes the farmers market a great starting point for new farmers. Having said that, ever since the outbreak in 2020, I've noticed that many farmers markets that once were thriving are receiving fewer and fewer customers with more and more restrictions. And I don't know how long that will continue to be the case, but it definitely has affected and still affects many of the farmers that are selling their produce at the farmers market. I've spoken to several farmers that have been farming for over a decade, and most of them have continued to sell at the market wherever that's possible, but have also changed their business model considerably and started to offer and sell a lot of CSA shares and took their businesses online, which we'll both cover later on in this video. Restaurants. Restaurants can be a great place to sell your produce at if you know what you're doing. Although restaurants do come with an extra set of considerations and complications, they can have their place in your overall selling strategy, though it is important to be cautious. The reason I say this is because the restaurant industry is quite risky and unpredictable. It was already a risky industry before the outbreak, but now even more. Restaurants are, unlike farmers markets or CSA members, not a stable industry. Restaurants come and go, and where one day you may have found yourself a great restaurant customer, the next day they can be out of business. So that is really something to take into consideration. When researching for restaurants to sell to, it is best to select a restaurant with a proven track record that have been in business for a while. This way you can be sure that it's not a new restaurant and they're very likely well managed by the owners. Having said that, although new restaurants can become great customers, you will have to be cautious with these new establishments. Another thing to take into consideration is the fact that they can be really slow to pay their bills. And in fact, in many cases, you even have to chase your money. This, of course, is a big downside of working with restaurants. It's not that they're all like this, because there are plenty of good ones out there as well. But this is just a word of caution and something to keep in the back of your mind. Last thing you want to be doing as a busy farmer is having to take time out of your day to contact them about their payments. But besides these considerations, there's also a major benefit to selling to them, and that is the fact that you can sell crops in a much larger volume. This is especially great for your most profitable crops, so things like your salad mixes and the faster growing crops. Whereas on the farmers market and for CSA shares, you will have to singulate each crop. Restaurants have the ability to buy your crops in larger volumes, allowing you to sell crates or larger bins instead of single bags or bunches. And this can be a great way for you to scale up your business. You will make a bit less in terms of revenue per unit, since you will be selling the crops at a slightly lower price, but at the end you will end up making more money in less time and with less work. So that's a bit of the trade-off. Having said that, as I mentioned earlier in this video, with everything that has happened these last years, the restaurants really took a big hit, from which unfortunately many won't recover. And this is definitely not the market stream that I would pursue if I would start out. That is not to say that there aren't great restaurants to sell your produce to at this moment, but it can be extremely risky, and doing a thorough research upfront is a requirement. CSA. If you don't know what a CSA is, it stands for Community Supported Agriculture and is essentially a subscription-based model where customers buy shares of the farm upfront and the farmer will deliver them a weekly box of produce during the growing season. This is a very solid and a great way to sell your produce to your customers, but it does come with a set of challenges. If you want to go down and pursue this market stream, you shouldn't start with more than 10 individuals to get your farm started and to get the ball rolling. And to get 10 people to sign up to your CSA program shouldn't be too difficult if you start actively promoting this to your friends, your family, neighbors, colleagues, and maybe the people that they know that might be interested in your produce. Having said that, and although starting small is definitely a must for the beginner, there are a couple of things to know up front that is going to help you clarify who you're going to market to and what you're going to offer to them, which essentially is going to be the foundation of your sales. Your goal is to meet the existing needs and wants of your customers. And with a CSA program, you're selling much more than a weekly box of produce. In fact, it is important to understand what exactly you are selling. Besides the box of produce, you're also selling community. Besides the fact that people form a relationship to you and your farm, they also have the opportunity to form relationships with fellow CSA members. Through farm events, open days, or at the pickup locations, your members will have the opportunity to chat with each other, share values, and form relationships. This can play a vital role in building a healthy community around your farm, which of course can be a part of your selling point when selling your CSA shares. Besides community, another important aspect that you are selling is the connection between your farm, the produce, and the end consumer. Where the CSA market stream really shines is the opportunity it allows for members to build a real connection to you and your farm produce. Fortunately, more and more people want to know where their food comes from, and by allowing members to connect to you and your farm, ultimately, it will increase the transparency of your farm business and your farming practices, which in turn will allow members to trust you and buy the food that you are producing for them. Nothing is more important for many customers, including myself, to know exactly where my food is coming from. So this form of connection that you can provide through a CSA is an important asset and benefit from this market stream. The only thing is, a CSA membership can be quite stressful, and definitely as a beginner, since you need to be able to grow a diversity of crops on a consistent basis. I've literally heard stories of customers from CSA farms that received a lot of the same produce in their boxes, which didn't reflect what the farmers promised to them. And this clearly shows that you need to have some experience before you really scale this market stream. But if you can do that, the CSA model is definitely one to consider. And in fact, if you combine this market stream with the business model that I'm going to explain later on in this video, you can have a really winning strategy to market and sell your produce efficiently to your customers. Unlike restaurants and even farmers markets, the CSA model is here to stay, as it is a great form of direct consumer marketing and a great way to build a community of supporters around your farm. Just make sure to start it very small and get the ball rolling from there. Farm stand. We've all seen the signs along highways and byways announcing different types of produce for sale. Farm stands or roadside stands have been around for very long because they don't require a lot of capital to run. A little bit of creativity and some produce to sell is all you really need. It can literally be a stand that's as simple as a cart with a few bins of veggies, or you can make it as professional as a walk-in store with coolers. But when starting out, just like with any other market stream, just begin with something really basic. It doesn't need to be really big, and you can put a lot of produce in a small stand, especially if you organize it vertically, which makes for a great display. Now, to succeed with this market stream, location is everything. You can make the most beautiful stand in the world with affordable pricing and a great diversity, but if no one passes by, you're not going to get very far. That's why it's important to think twice about setting up a roadside stand. If your farm is located on a busy road, then you will automatically have a big chance to make this into a very successful market stream. If you're not located on a busy road, you might have to consider setting up a stand in a location that does receive enough traffic. For me personally, I think this market stream can be a great one if you're on a great location, but initially to just try and sell some of the surplus you may have that you can't sell at your primary sales outlet, such as perhaps a farmer's market or a CSA subscription base. From my perspective, I think that setting up a farm stand can also be a great way to get some customers in the door that you can then develop relationships with and sell them onto becoming a member of the farm or build a connection so they'll become repeat customers. Wholesale aggregators and distributors. The wholesale industry is at a complete different level and not something to quickly pursue as a beginning farmer. In fact, even as an established farmer, the wholesale market stream generally is only interesting to pursue for some of your most profitable crops. That's simply because you're competing with a large number of other producers, and grocery stores tend to import a lot of their produce. This means that there's a lot of competition for the same products, and this drives the prices down a lot. In many cases, so much so that it's simply not worth it for you to sell your crops there. Having said that, with good branding and farm recognition, you can outcompete the produce from others if the customers know who you are and what your farm is about. And when it comes to the overall functioning of this specific market stream, wholesale clients are very consistent and didn't seem to have taken much of a hit since the 2020 outbreak. In fact, quite the opposite happened there as well. With people worrying about food scarcity, some of our wholesale clients saw a huge increase in demand for locally grown produce, and we didn't have the capacity to cater to their demands simply because we lacked the space to grow these amounts. Nevertheless, wholesale customers require a lot of organization, professionalism of the farmer, and experience to ensure that you can deliver consistent quantities of high quality produce on a weekly basis. Definitely not recommended for starting out, but something to think of when scaling your farming operation after several years in business. And in fact, from the market streams that we've mentioned so far, there's really two, maybe even three, that I would recommend that you put most of your focus on, and those are the farmers market, if of course they are reliable and in a good location, because I've seen many that are struggling during these times. The CSA model is a great place to start, as long as you start very small with max 10 to 20 people. And if you're on a busy location, a farm stand can work really well. But there is one market stream that we haven't yet covered, which is the one that is working really well right now and is going to exponentially grow over the coming years and is pretty much becoming an essential part for any farmer, and that is selling your crops directly online. I think now more than ever it is important that farmers venture into the online space, since not only more and more people start doing their groceries and shopping online, but this trend seems to continue for years to come. And with everything that's been going on, it's much easier for people to simply go online, find your website, do their purchases directly there, and pick up their orders on a predetermined time, day, and location. Now, this location can be directly at your farm, which I personally recommend, but can also be in a nearby town if that's easier for most of your customers. Nevertheless, selling your produce online comes with many benefits in the digital age and becomes the standard and an essential part of farming overall. But how do you go about this? I know many people, myself included, are not very tech savvy. I much rather spend my time in the garden doing what I do best and enjoy the most than spending too much time staring at a screen, screwing around with spreadsheets and software. Now, in the past, you would have to do a lot of work to create a website, buy a domain name, find the right hosting, connect everything with a payment processor, and a lot of things that the average computer user is not really familiar with. But nowadays, there are companies that have created software to make this all a breeze, and there's one company that has specifically created a software for farmers only that makes all of this previously tedious work into a simple step-by-step process, even understandable for people like you and me, me that prefer to spend their time in the field. And this company is called Local, which is a Canadian company and the only one that I highly recommend for selling your vegetables and taking your farm business online. Now, I'm not the type of person that quickly endorses other brands or other companies simply because many of them are not worth it for us farmers and are costing us more than they are earning us. And in fact, many of them work on a commission basis, meaning that the more that you earn, the more commission or a percentage that you have to pay. And I don't think that that's really fair for the farmers. That's why I've always been kind of hesitant to mention any brands or companies that we use on the farm to make the whole marketing and selling aspect more optimized and efficient, essentially allowing us to save a considerable amount of time and allowing us to focus on improving our production and management systems and increasing our overall revenue and profits. Now, in the past, we used to have to work with a lot of spreadsheets, which take up a lot of your time and can get a bit unorganized. I mean, it kind of works, but having to manually edit and fill out spreadsheets and keep them updated and organized is quite inefficient. That takes up a lot of my time. And it is in these areas where we as farmers have a big opportunity to gain a huge amount of time by simply using the appropriate technology and services. And that's what the guys at Local understood really well. They've custom built an e-commerce platform that helps you manage all your orders in one place and is specifically built for local food producers doing direct marketing. It's basically a CRM in that it manages your customers, your invoices. It's combining all the orders into one place. It can create pick lists for you that you can take out into the field. They've got a free website builder. Basically, it contains everything that you need to create your website all the way down to receiving payments and managing orders. I oftentimes see comments on my videos and get emails from you guys with questions on how we manage our customers, how we take orders, how we generate harvest tallies, and a lot of the organizational things needed on the farm. And if you're still working with spreadsheets and you're not using a CRM, or you are in the beginning stages of starting your farm and would like to start it efficiently using a software that will save you a lot of time, money, and stress, then I highly recommend you check out their platform. It's a software that is focused on helping the small-scale growers efficiently manage their marketing and sales online. And what makes them great is that they're specifically built for farmers with an affordable flat fee and no any hidden cost or extra fees when you earn more, which I believe to be the most honest and best option for us out there. They integrate with Zapier, which allows you to connect their platform directly with, for example, an accounting software and thousands of other online services that will help you to even save more time, more money, and basically allows you to automate most of your paperwork and organizational back-end work. Over on their website at localine.ca, they've got a bunch of great free resources, guides, videos, and information to help you automate your farm and increase your efficiency, revenue, and profits. But enough talk, let's take a quick look into their platform to give you an idea of how this all looks and works. So if we sign in, you get into the back-end dashboard of the platform. And what we're looking at now is a dummy account just used for illustration purposes, but will give you an overview and a behind-the-scenes look of how this all works. And the thing I really like is that it's very straightforward and simple to understand and use. As you can see here, from left to right, you have the homepage in which you can see on the left-hand side your profile, the amount of products you have, your customers, and the amount of orders there are placed this month. You can see directly any updates and filter the activity of your customers on your website by type. So for example, you can see whether your customers are looking at any of the catalogs or products, if they've placed any orders. You can see whether you have any upcoming orders and a bunch of other things. Then if we go in the menu on the top, you can press on My Store. And this basically brings you to the place where you can create your individual products, your catalogs. You can set up your farm website where you can then direct your customers to. And you can set up your payment systems so you can receive secure online payments through Stripe or Square, or let your customers know that they can pay you in person at the market or on the farm. Then if we look in the menu under deliveries, you can create delivery plans, add pickup locations for your customers, and create routes for deliveries. You can also efficiently manage all your customers in one place, whether they are CSA customers, restaurants, wholesale, or others. Same for your orders. You can log your orders, you can download them. You can create pick lists for in the field, download your invoices, mark your orders as paid or unpaid, and have everything organized in one place. And as last are the reports, which is an awesome feature where you can directly see what products do best and make the most money, who are your biggest and best customers, how much money that you've made per month, how many orders that you had for those months, and a wide variety of other things. Honestly, overall, this software is a great tool for the farm, which will help you create a much more optimized and efficient operation, yet is very simple to set up. It's a very straightforward and easy to use platform to help you improve your marketing and sales systems, and it is definitely worth it to check it out. If you sign up, they provide you with a 7-day free trial, and if you use coupon code Moreno, you will get 50% off their subscription if you've started your farm in the last 3 years, plus an additional premium feature which usually costs $300 plus a year for free. I'll put the link to their website down below in the description box, so make sure to check that out. And even if you don't decide to use their platform, at least check out their website, because they offer a ton of great free content and even free tools to help you out in your farming journey. As always, I hope that by sharing my experiences, you'll be able to shorten your journey into farming a lot. And I hope that this video will help you improve and optimize your marketing and sales so that you can keep going strong in the years to come. And I think that if you are not adapting to this trend of selling online, it will become harder and harder for you to create this beautifully rewarding lifestyle whilst making a living off the land. As we've seen with everything that's going on, not every market stream was able or is able to adapt to the current situation. And it's now more important than ever to focus on direct consumer marketing and start selling your produce online, making it easier and more convenient for your customers whilst optimizing the systems and allowing you to gain more time, energy, and effort that you can then spend elsewhere. Thanks a lot for watching, guys. I hope this was helpful, and I will see you in the next video.